It's like, see, I don't like that. I'm gonna tell you why I don't like that. Because you can't go and do 90% of something and then say, okay, I'm gonna do 10% of this, and then I'm gonna go win the awards with the 10% that I do. When you got dudes doing it every single day, and it's their lifestyle.
I don't disagree with that, but to your point, we're all works in progress. And what if that's God's way of saying, look, you doing all of this, but you don't get no rewards for it. But you did this record and you got rewarded for it. What if that makes that person go more in that direction?
It's like God, the medicine and the candy, what you're trying to say, right?
God ain't concerned about no rewards.
And we wonder why gospel music is dying. It's because we're doing things like that.
See, you got the reward wrong. My reward was when Michael called me to pray for him. And he said, where are you, Sam? He said, can I come? I just need prayer. That's the reward.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mel, and welcome to Life Coaching by Mel. I really appreciate you guys for joining me for this enlightening conversation today. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Everyone show the channel some love and hit that like button. Hit me in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this topic. And if you're kind enough, please send this over to your favorite group chat. I recently saw an interview between Rodney Jerkins and the Breakfast Club. Now, I don't normally use this term, but Rodney Jerkins was standing on business. Is it still in? I know I'm old now, but is that word, that phrase still going? Still on business in front of Charlemagne the God. And I fully support him on this. He's standing up for righteousness. And I want to share this with you guys again to get this conversation flowing.
So are you a faith artist? Because I know the Aliens Alive is a faith label.
Yeah. So I'm a Christian artist. I mean, I was raised in the church. You know what I'm saying? My father he's a pastor now, but he's always been in some kind of leadership in the church. For me, I got no hobbies. I do music, and I'm a Bible nerd. That's it.
What did you see in John that said, I want to work with him?
I heard his heart in his music. And I heard something that could penetrate the youth differently. Because I believe people go through things and they just don't talk about it. And here's my question, right? When we think about radio, why is it so quick that we are so quick to play music from people who they just don't talk about it?
That's a very good point. I will be cutting in here and there, guys, so bear with your boy. But it's a very good point. And what he's saying is young people go through things as well. It's not just older people. Young people have very hard trials. This guy sounds like he came from a good home, but it's not everyone's story. And also, if you come from a good home, you can still have things that you struggle with. And whatever the case may be, children, youth have issues. I'm a former youth pastor, so I've sat in front of dozens, if not hundreds of youth, young people, hearing their stories about family trauma or issues that they're having individually at school, whatever the case may be. And this stuff is real. So having an artist that they can relate to, have real music about real issues is definitely a plus for the faith.
And here's my question, right? When we think about radio, why is it so quick that we are so quick to play music from people who play their experiences or what they go through, what their lifestyle is? But when someone on the faith side, it's hard to play that. Why is that? What's the factor of it? Because people used to say, oh, yeah, well, that's cheesy. And I was like, well, then I'm going to be the difference maker in that. And I'm going to find some artists that ain't corny. They got a message with it, right? So then when I came across, I was like, he's one of them ones. He's telling you his story, telling you what he's gone through. He's telling you that what he was literally about to do in his life and where the change came. It didn't come from just sitting down and getting some help from talking to somebody. It came from him, what he used to say, a Bible nerd, digging deep into his word. And if that becomes the ultimate change, how can that help someone else?
I mean, but
It's really good stuff. And I think that the whole corny aspect of it, I can relate to because I'm a church kid. I grew up in the church, and gospel music has always been my favorite music. But I would always turn it down around my friends. I would always turn it down on the highway when I was driving pretty early in my life. So if I'm driving around and I see somebody who either went to my school or that I thought may judge me for that, I would turn the music down. You know, if it's corny enough, I would look at it that way. So Rodney Jerkins is probably one of the greatest producers of all time. When we're talking about hip hop, we're talking about R&B, working with Michael Jackson, I mean, some of the greats. And for him to be behind you, and I'm sorry, I probably said Jenkins earlier, but Jerkins, for him to be behind you, it's already a gold. And to put faith behind it is absolutely something that kids will be able to relate to. If you're looking for quality music, you're going to find it with this young man.
Honestly, that's what we kind of grew up on. Like when you think about like the artists we grew up on, like they were doing that. Like it may have been in a street form or whatever you want to call it. But if you actually listen to the music, there's a lot of socially redeeming value in their music.
But why don't they play it? So is it because they edify Christ? His reality may be what he feels Jesus did for him, right? And in redeeming his life. If that's his reality and he's speaking on it, why can't we play that?
Well, I think that if DJs and program directors, if they actually had their hearts open and not their pockets and not dealing with industry politics, they probably would accept more of that.
Don't it annoy you when you make a complaint or say a statement to someone who's actually in position to do something about it, telling you if someone else were to do it or if it's above my head? Charlamagne, you actually, not a DJ in the sense of what DJ Envy is, but you are a disc jockey. You are a radio personality. You have many, many outlets where you can play this stuff. Why aren't you doing it? He knows exactly why. I'm not here to tell anyone that Charlamagne isn't a man of God or anything. I don't know him that well personally to say what he is behind closed doors or what's his involvement in his Christian faith. But I do know he's being very disingenuous right here and saying that maybe if other people would do it, why not you?
Because there's plenty of it. Like, you have the Rhapsodies, you have the Kendrick's last album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Like, that was an incredible,
but then we got songs
testimony.
too. You got Little Baby and Kirk Franklin. You got Glorilla and
new record,
Kirk Franklin. And it was good seeing it at the BET Awards where the gospel category had rappers doing gospel.
But to his point, radio isn't playing that.
Stop, man. Nah.
Stop,
nah.
Radio
No. But what I mean by stop is like, see, I don't like that. I'm going to tell you why I don't like that. Because you can't go and do 90% of something and then say, okay, I'm going to do 10% of this. And then I'm going to go win the awards with the 10% that I do when you got dudes doing it every single day and it's their it's their lifestyle.
I don't disagree with that, but to your point, we're all works in progress. And what if that's God's way of saying, look, you doing all of this, but you don't get no rewards for it. But you did this record and you got rewarded for it. What if that makes that person go more in that direction?
It's like God, the medicine and the candy.
God ain't concerned about no rewards. You think you really think God is concerned about you think he's concerned about a Songwriters Hall of Fame for me? You really think that? Be honest.
Or a trophy or something.
Why do you think that?
Because I think that you it's your testimony, right? You've told us how you've opened up to God and, you've given your life to God and you're continuing to be rewarded for it. And I think that will make people be like, damn, I want to do what he's doing. It's not just about beats. It's about the work he's done on himself spiritually.
Charlamagne just be talking, but here we are. They brought up another subject that very, very, very much so ticked me off. Glorilla winning the Bobby Jones Gospel Award at the BET Awards. Now, what you want to say about the BET Awards, neither here or there. But it was the most crazy thing I ever seen. Just because she did a couple songs, gospel songs, or she definitely did a song with Kirk Franklin. I don't know to the extent because I don't listen to her. It's BS, man. That's sad. And we had Dietrich Haddon come out and said this.
So it's hard for us to watch the Dr. Bobby Jones Gospel Award being given to somebody that's not in our space, right? No disrespect to the artist, but that's not the space she's in. And so it makes it discouraging, disappointing, and it takes the wind out of all of it. And we wonder why gospel music is dying. It's because we're doing things like that. Well, on top of that is we're tired. Nobody will say this, but I will. Of seeing the same people being celebrated year after year. Like there is nobody else in gospel music. Like no one else is working. You cannot just give it to one person as if they're the ones that's keeping it going. No. We're done with that. Last night was a great win for the ratings for BET. I give certain people awards for ratings, but it was not a win for the gospel music industry.
And at the end of that, he's talking about Kirk Franklin, y'all. He's tired of, and I know other gospel artists have to be tired of the same guy being celebrated and being accepted by the secular world. But I want to encourage those guys, the gospel artists who aren't being recognized, that Kirk Franklin has been compromised. I'm sorry. Kirk Franklin, in my view, but forget my view, in the Bible's view, is not a child of God. He's not a follower of Christ. The Bible clearly says that you will know a tree by the fruit that it bears. Kirk Franklin is a man who sings gospel music. That's what he is. He compromises himself at all times. So he makes sinners comfortable. Not from a standpoint of being acceptable for you and allowing you to speak godly truth to them in love. No, his comfort that he provides is that I sin just like you. We are the exact same because I haven't changed anything about my life. I live the exact same life as you. I just so happen to sing gospel music. God is the ultimate judge. I'm not here to cast that full judgment on him because in some ways I may be doing it wrong. Those gospel artists should not grow frustration. The Bible tells us be not weary in well doing. And you should not, just like Rodney is saying here, be looking for worldly validation. It's not that important.
I'm glad you think that. And I'll tell you why. This is what I believe. I personally don't think that God is really concerned about the reward. I think he's concerned about the ultimate reward in heaven that he wants to give his children. In the book of James, it talks about enduring, right? We're all in this race, right? Trying to make it, trying to live our lives and do whatever. But this is not the ultimate ending. Like some people just think it ends and it's over. No, there's an eternal he promises it. So you show me where in his word where he states things that didn't happen.
What do you mean?
You show me in the Bible where things that were talked about, right, that didn't happen. It happened. Like if they said it was going to be a storm, it factually happened. If they said it factually happened. There were people that literally, if you talked about certain things right now and I witnessed it, and then I can go back and write about it. Like, yeah, Charlamagne said that's what happened. Like people like John was sitting there.
But that's like your dreams. Like God showed you Michael Jackson. And you went to go work with Michael Jackson. And you were rewarded for that.
See, you got the reward wrong. My reward was when Michael called me to pray for him. In 2003, I'm in the studio with Chris Tucker and my father. We at the studio. Michael was going through that trial. And he said, where are you? He said, can I come? I just need prayer. That's the reward. All the accolades that just comes and all that, that's what the world sees. But now that I'm older and look back, I'm like, yo, the ultimate reward, and I'm blessed to have all these stories, right? But the ultimate reward was the time that we prayed together. The ultimate reward is when I go to his funeral and Sandra Crouch and Seth Riggs, his vocal coach, says, Michael received Christ 2 weeks ago. He had us pray. He did the sinner's prayer. That's the reward. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand.
But you don't get. I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. But how do we know that God didn't connect you and Michael for that reason?
He might have.
That's what I'm saying. And even now, God has expanded your territory so much that you are Rodney Darkchild Jerkins. Your testimony hits different, my brother. When you on the microphone telling people that they need to find God and these are the reasons why, their ears are open a little bit more.
Facts.
And that very well may be true, Charlamagne, but I think you missed his overall point. It's not about earthly gain. It's about our heavenly gain. And that's such a great reminder. It's so hard to remember at times, being that we're chasing so much. We're wanting to fulfill our purpose, and we also want to fulfill our life needs. And, we have to take it back to Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto you. And just not worrying about the things of this world, just focusing on the Lord and his kingdom. But I think that was amazing. I think that was amazing by Rodney because he was able to stand up for righteousness amongst nothing but heathens. I was able to go to a men's conference a couple of weeks back, and I saw one of my favorite TV personalities. It's a guy by the name of Chris Broussard. Now, Chris Broussard actually had a very volatile instance on ESPN several years back, and I was actually telling my dad about it a few months ago. And then it actually came to fruition where we both were sitting in front of Chris and he actually talked about it. I don't have that where he talked about it at a conference, but let's take a moment to look back in real time what happened in that instance.
Personally, I don't believe that you can live an openly homosexual lifestyle or an openly premarital sex between heterosexuals. If you're openly living that type of lifestyle, then the Bible says you know them by their fruits. It says that, that's a sin. And if you're openly living in unrepentant sin, whatever it may be, not just homosexuality, adultery, fornication, premarital sex between heterosexuals, whatever it may be, I believe that's walking in open rebellion to God and to Jesus Christ. So I would not characterize that person as a Christian because I don't think the Bible would characterize him as a Christian.
Powerful stuff right there. Very powerful stuff. Now, he talked about this, like I said, at the men's conference, and he broke it down like this. It was the reason why he talked about this. He was on a show called Outside the Lines. If anybody remember that show, it was an amazing show. Typically came on Sunday morning, and essentially it was deeper than reporting. It wasn't reporting, actually. It was reporters coming on to give their personal stance on a given issue. It wasn't like he was out telling Jason Collins out of nowhere that he's wrong for being gay, anything like that. He simply was talking about this from a standpoint of his personal views. He got attacked, ladies and gentlemen. He got attacked, and ESPN took him off air for a couple of days, not in the form of punishment, but a form of cooling it down, letting the atmosphere cool down just a little bit. And they put him on assignment because at this point, he wasn't just a TV personality. He was also a reporter traveling from game to game for the NBA reporting. So they put him on assignment, and they sent him to a game in Atlanta, Georgia. His wife said, man, they're trying to kill you. They're trying to get you killed, being that he's going to one of the world-renowned gayest cities in America. So he took that in stride, and he actually, went on to explain this a couple of times. And it's also how he explained it here. It was never a stance against just gays. It's a stance against the sin of the people who are in open rebellion. He was talking about me. He was talking about you. He was talking about anyone. I loved it. And the main point and the main purpose of him being at this conference is to talk about what it's like to stand up for righteousness in public, in an industry that is not popular to stand on that type of righteousness, and never compromising. And I can say this, I've been following sports pretty much my whole entire life. Been seeing Chris Broussard for the last 25, 30 years. He's done this. You haven't heard any stories, any type of issues, whether it be sexual sin or cussing or any type of thing. Like, this man is as clean cut as it comes. It's not that you have to be clean cut, but you do want to live above reproach. When people say something about you, no one believes it because that's not your character. That's not who you are. And someone like Kirk Franklin, so many stories have already come out about him. But if one more came out, none of you would bat an eye. Nobody would say, oh man, not Kirk. You would treat it just like if another allegation came out about Diddy. It wouldn't be a surprise at all. It'll be all right, just let it pile up. But what Chris represents and Rodney represents are men who are not afraid to stand up for righteousness, not afraid to stand alone amongst the world and tell a dying world that Jesus still lives and that Jesus is the answer for all of our issues. Anything that we're looking to overcome and heal, the answer is Jesus. So I salute both of these brothers for doing that. But I do know for sure that the only way to truly see the face of God, the only way to live in the spirit while we're living on earth, and definitely the only way to get to heaven, is to admit our sin. When we acknowledge our sin, we put God in position to rescue us. And if we're someone who's justifying what we do, not even striving for perfection, not even striving to do our best, we live in sin, we eliminate ourselves from all the benefits of being a child of God. But don't get it twisted. Our Father's always there. He's faithful and just to forgive us. So that's what it's all about. But you have to put yourself in position to be forgiven. You have to repent. You have to turn away from that sin. And I thank you guys for watching this video. Again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit me in the comment section. Hit the like button. Do all the things to help this channel grow. I appreciate everyone who subscribed recently. Does my heart well. I appreciate you guys for watching this all the way through. Make sure you share the video as well. Love you guys. Take care. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mel. Thank you for joining my channel. Thank you for checking things out here. Oftentimes, we go on people's pages and are like, man, what is going on here? What is the purpose of this channel? So let me be clear. The purpose of this channel is to speak truth regarding the nuclear family. And when I say truth, I'm not saying my truth, not your truth, but the Lord's truth. All about the word, all about the ways and the will of God. What does he have to say about the nuclear family? And I believe the generations of today, whether it be Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever the case may be, I believe now we have a very toxic relationship regarding marriage, regarding family, regarding having children. We're in a toxic dynamic as we speak. And honestly speaking, a lot of the answers that we're looking for in our community, a lot of the cures and a lot of the answers would come from a proper, fulfilled family home. If you go down the line of everyone's individual trauma, there you will find some negligence or some type of issue that they had with their parents. So here on this channel, we address those things head on. We don't place fear in those issues and avoid the topic. We do what Jesus did. And when he said, don't assume that I came for peace, but I came with a sword. I came to turn family members against family members if it means you following me. If you have to cut them off, if you have to address them and have arguments for you to follow me, so be it. And I think at this point in our society, we're at the so be it stage. So here at Life Coaching by Mel, I'm all about bringing healing to that. And the number one way to do that is have honest conversations. So if that's something you like, that's something you're into, that's something you really want to be a part of, Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to comment. Let me know what you think about everything. I do my best to respond as often as I can. I want to hear from you guys. This is not about me. It's about healing our nation, healing our states, healing our cities, healing our community, healing our homes. Love you guys. Take care.
Let's go.